right, guys. Thanks for coming out today. I know probably had plans this afternoon that got delayed, but we got a lot of good work in. So what can I help you with?
Greg, just your thoughts on how the offense performed today.
I think overall, I could give you the same answer for everything. At times we did some really good things, and at other times, thank goodness it's practice 12, right? Because we got to get a lot cleaned up. But we did do some good. I'm encouraged, but I'm not unrealistic. We got so much to work on. I'm grateful that we have an entire week next week of practice.
What's your assessment of the tight end group right now?
They're getting better. Yeah, there's not a lot of experience there. Obviously, Kenny is every day making leaps and bounds, growth. And then, Mike and Victor and the whole group of them, they're definitely improving, but they have to because none of them have really played very much.
What did you think of how Ethan did today, and specifically how was his accuracy?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought he handled the operation well. Missed a couple of deep comebacks that I'm sure he'd like to throw again and hit them, but he hit a lot of balls too. So I thought he did just what we needed him to do today. And I think next week, after now going out and playing game conditions, there's a lot going on now, right? He's got Kirk in his head, or in his earpiece rather, and he's listening. And as you can imagine, when you go under 15 and he disappears, if Kirk was in the middle of a sentence, that could be odd, right? There's a lot of different things that we needed to go through today with the actual game operation. So we got a lot to learn from.
I'm sure you've seen some of the national attention you guys have been getting, even some calling you a dark horse college football playoff team. What's your reaction to hearing things like that?
Yeah, you hear all that stuff, it's like poison, right? If it's sitting on the counter, it doesn't harm you. If you start drinking it, you're in trouble. We have to work. That's all we have to do. We have to chop every day to have a chance to be good and to go win our opening game. That's right now all our focus is on, is Howard. We haven't turned to them yet. We're focusing on us, but as far as the game that we're concerned with, it's one game, and that's Howard.
You acknowledged some competition on the offensive line as something you were looking forward to in training camp. You just give a little bit of an update on how that's going and what you've seen from that group.
Well, like I said to you guys, I think the starting offensive line is pretty well set. I think it's the depth behind them that's up for debate. And again, that's the hardest thing to tell by when you're on the field, right? So I'm anxious to watch the tape, but I think they're getting better, right? Offensive linemen take so much time because they have to work in unison. The defensive linemen are generally a little bit more athletic, so they're battling uphill. But we're getting better. Our young guys are getting better, and just got to continue that. As long as we can continue to get better every day, we'll get some depth in the O-line, and you need it, right? Because it's a very physical league.
How would you compare entering training camp this year versus last year?
We have more experience, guys that have done it in a game. So I think anytime that is the case, people have more confidence, right? There's not as much anxiety about, I've never done this before. Yeah, I have done it 1,000 snaps. So as long as they keep the beginner's mentality that we talk about all the time, right? Taking great notes, studying your notes, asking questions, enacting perfection behind when you're not in, all those things that we do to try and continually get better and better. As long as they'll continue to do that, they'll start stacking experiences, and that's when you get to be really good because you know what, I've seen this before, and I know what it's going to happen right now, and as long as you anticipate that, you'll be a half a click faster.
Have you seen any separation in the wide receiver competition at this point in training camp? Any guys kind of rising to the top at this point?
That's going to be interesting. They really are competing. They really are competing. Let me refrain until I get and watch the tape and see, because what you see and what I see is somebody catches a ball. What I don't see is, did they not release correctly? What I don't see is, did they take a poor angle on their block? What I don't see when I'm not looking for it live is, are they hustling on the backside to cut someone off? Those are the things that an every down receiver has to do for you to win football games. And it's harder to see that live unless you're just looking at one position. I'm sure Dave Brock could tell you, but that's not all I'm looking at.
Greg, you got a few third-year linebackers in there getting some reps, Moses Walker and Dario. How are those guys faring, and what kind of role do you see them playing?
Yeah, Moses and DJ are working with the first defense right now because Mo and Tyreem are still recovering. So that experience, I think, to them is invaluable, right? They're working with the first unit. And we're going to play a lot of guys, so it's great work for them. They're getting better. You know, so is Abram Wright getting better. Timmy Heinz-Peters getting, I mean, there's a bunch of guys that are getting better because they're getting these valuable reps.
I know you touched on the in-helmet communication as something you guys worked on today. How about just the sideline preparation with the new tablets and being able to break down film live and in the moment?
Yeah, it's incredible. I was laughing with the officials. First off, the coach-player communication, we've been using it all camp, but there's a 15-second cutoff. And now what we'll do after this week is start doing the 15-second cutoff in practice, because you think you're talking to somebody and you're not, right? If you're not aware of the clock. The tablets are insane, right? I remember I said to the official, when I started coaching, at the end of the season in January, when the full-time coaches were out recruiting, the GAs did something called cut-ups. And it was actual 16-millimeter film, and you snipped it with a scissor, and you put a piece of tape, and you hung it on a board. All the 16 Power O's went on one board, all the cover twos, and then you made a reel of them. You took them all, you put them together, you spliced them, and then there was one reel of all the cover twos from the year. Then we got this digital stuff, and you can do it on your computer and make a cut-up. Now you do it in real time. So the coaches can actually mark a play on the iPad and flag it. So when we get to the sideline, give me all the flagged plays, and you get the 6 plays you flagged live, and you're watching them live. So we went from what used to take, you know, off-season studies to put together to doing it from when the series is over until the guys get a Gatorade, and you at least got the plays you got to see. It's been some shift over the years, right? Live and learn. Got to grow with the times. Thank you, guys.